Good evening, ladies, as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. We did Priest, and before that we had Mage, and so this time it's time to do some Rogue. Alright, kicking off with a Legendary. That's always exciting. Well, this is a really easy Legendary pick, because usually Legendaries are hard. Here, however, we have utter unplayable garbage. Good but expensive, and then amazing, so we'll take the Ragnaros here. Kind of a lot of pressure now to do well in this run. If we do have Rag, then Sprint becomes somewhat tempting since we'll be trying for a more control style of play, but if I don't want to commit to this card drawer, I can also take the Silvermoon Guardian, which is a pretty good 4-drop. Not the greatest, though. I wouldn't take Sprint over a Yeti or Ascension here, but Silvermoon Guardian is a little bit touch and go. Mages, ping off the Divine Shield, and then he's just a 3-3. So we'll grab the Sprint. Let's make sure we have that. And here we'll take a Backstab, one of my favorite cards in the game. I could take the Acolyte to go more in with, the control type of play, getting some more card draw here. Or the Raging Organ, which can sometimes be quite strong. Let's grab the Acolyte. We'll go for a little bit of a control rogue here. So the Silence is nice, but I'll take Deadly Poison. It's a little bit more straightforward removal. Now, do I take a second Deadly Poison or the Blade? Well, I think I'll take the Blade, since the Deadly Wet Poison on a Blade is extremely great. Having this also opens me up to have Blade Flurry, a playable card later. Cult Master is good, but with the Acolyte and the Sprint, I'm not actually that scared about cards, so we'll take the Scarlet Crusader here. Let's get some actual creatures. And here's an interesting moment. So any of these picks is viable. The Fan of Knives, fulfills both purposes of card draw and removal. And on top of that, it is an early moment in the draft, so if I took the Fan of Knives here, then I'd know that spell damage later would be useful. Fairy Dragon gives me a 2-drop, which I have none of at the moment, and Wolf Rider just gives me straight up 3 damage. Let's go for the Fan of Knives and keep an eye on spell damage, but really any option there would have been pretty sensible. Okay, Cold Blood is not exactly what this deck is going for. Don't want the Silence, so I'm going to take another Scarlet Crusader. Oh god, well the only playable card here is the Cobra, so we're loading up on 3-drops quite unfortunately. Leopard Gnome doesn't seem right for this deck, so we'll grab a Mogushan Warden, though it's not the 4-drop I would want. It does stop the opponent from attacking you, which is pretty good. Shield Bearer is a bit silly. Let's take a Wolf Rider for some removal. Oh, Jesus. I cannot get a good card here to save my life. Come on, people. Give me some cards that I can actually play. Oh, Jesus. Well, I guess we're going to take the Stormpike Commando. Alright, Argent Squire's got to be the pick. I don't want yet another 3-drop in the Voodoo Doctor. Seems a bit silly, so Twilight Drake is more of what I'm looking for. Nice, solid 4-drops. So, I could take another copy of Backstab, which is certainly good. Sap would be a nice way of dealing with big threats. Right now, the only thing I have that deals with big threats is Cobra, since I haven't gotten any Assassinates. But Loot Hoarder is a 2-drop, which I'm lacking, and it also draws a card, so let's go for the Loot Hoarder there. Yet another Scarlet Crusader. Silvermoon Guardian does pay an extra hit point, or mana point, for 2 more hit points, and I don't have that many 4-drops, so we'll take it. Alright, so I'm going to take the Sunfury Protector here because I don't have that much taunt apart from this pair of Mogushan Wardens, and being able to, say, put taunt on a Ragnaros could be pretty strong. That's also, of course, a 2-drop that I can use. Alright, so here's a tough moment. I can take the Sunwalker, which is great, or Blade Flurry. Now, with the Deadly Poison and with an Assassin's Blade, the Blade Flurry could very well be mass removal. So I'm going to grab it. Let's try to make this happen here. Lord of the Arena is... I know some people are going to think this is crazy, taking that over one of these 5-drops, but I'm just not that big a fan of either of them, and I do need some more taunt in this deck if I'm going to make it to the end game. Here we'll take a Yeti, which is very strong, and a Spiteful Smith, which is really good for rogues. Here's an interesting choice. Betrayal or the Healer? I'm going to go for the Healer, get another 5-drop, have a nice meaty deck, and then the Healing could also be nice to help me survive daggering things. And Ogre is a good addition to this deck. I don't think there's any synergy here with Shadow Steps, so we'll take Shiv. And here's an interesting moment. I don't think I can take this Ogre. It's a little bit expensive now. I got 2 6-drops and 8 and 4 5s. That's a lot. I don't think I can do it. I think I'm going to take an Infiltrator for some early plays and some holding up potential. Man, this draft just keeps giving me Cult Masters. I don't know. With my curve being as high as it is, I just don't see how this Cult Master is going to work. So we're going to take a Razorfen Hunter to keep our curve low. And I think a Mana Wraith over the Demolisher for our last pick. I'm not a big fan of Demolisher. And the Mana Wraith can slow down the opponent, which is fine by me since I have a pretty strong endgame. So we have Ogre, Lord of the Arena, and Ragnaros. For the end game, we also have Sprint to refuel our hand, plus a bunch of 5-drops. Darkscale Healer, Spiteful Smith is in there. Stormsuck Commando is a bit unfortunate, but the Assassin's Blade is also expensive and is also a very dominating factor. So, yeah, if we can keep board control in the early game, then the late game should be good to us. Alright, we're starting off with an Argent Squire, which is great. We'll actually keep both of these 3-drops, so we play the Argent Squire on turn 1, and then we have our choice of 3s on turn 2, plus, of course, we can play a real 3-drop on turn 3. Nice to be second here, even though I don't actually have a single combo card in this deck. I didn't see a single Eviscerate. I passed on several Cold Bloods. It just didn't seem like the right deck for it. And we didn't get any SI agents. So yeah, no combo, so the coin doesn't really help me especially, but it is nice anyway that I can play 3-drops, because my curve is, as it frequently ends up being, it seems, quite heavy on those. So what do you play here with the coin? I think it's a bit early for the Cobra, but I'm gonna play the Razorfin Hunter then. I mean, the Scarlet Crusader would impede some plays. Like, let's say my opponent plays Ironfur Grizzly here. I'll regret not having played the Scarlet Crusader, but I don't want to have 2 Divine Shields out, just in case he does have a Blood Knight. I don't want to instantly lose the game. Alright, Felguard. That's alright. I think we're okay here. So, I could Shiv this. Although Shiv doesn't really do much more than the Dagger would. I could just play Scarlet Crusader and just do nothing. Yeah, let's try this out. I'm just going to play the Scarlet Crusader and I'm going to sit. So he played a Felguard, which is like a Sen'jin Shieldmaster, but he lost a Mana Crystal for the privilege. Now I'm threatening to kill this with my Divine Shields and Dagger, or my Divine Shields and Shiv. Or even my Divine Shields plus the Pig, and then I can do whatever I want. Like I can play Mogushan Warden for 4 mana. So he's a little bit behind now. As the first player, it's kind of like now he's the second player. Using this when you're the second player is real tough, because then you're like 2 mana crystals behind, which is pretty severe. Here, you know, he's responding to my turn 3 play with his turn 3 play, essentially a 3 mana play. So he's not as far behind as he would have been otherwise. Flesh Eating Ghoul comes down the pike. It's fine. Alright, so with the Flesh Eating Ghoul here, I'm tempted to just save this Divine Shield for that. So what I'm going to do is Dagger up. Shiv. Draw a card. There's the other Mogushan Warden. We're going to Dagger down here. I'm going to keep the Divine Shield on the Argent Squire. So I will throw the Pig away. And then use the Divine Shield from the Scarlet Crusader to kill the Flesh Eating Ghoul and swing. Okay, so we got a Dagger in the hand, which is nice. He's got 7 cards to my 7, so I'm actually drawing my 8th. And it's like I was the first player of this game, because my opponent did throw down the Felguard. So that's pretty good. I am happy with how this is going so far. That is, of course, a pretty big drop. I could kill it just by throwing everything at it. I could also just play my own Shillwind Yeti, though. Darkscale Healer. I could also be crazy and play the Warden, which would kind of hold up against the Shillwind Yeti. All these are valid options. Let's play the Healer, my own Shillwind Yeti here. And I could again throw everything at his Shillwind Yeti to kill it. That would lose my Divine Shield, my Scarlet Crusader, and my health. Let's do that. I still get to keep this 1-1 on the board. I did take 4 damage, but I was at full health, or close to it. And he's got now 7 cards to my 7, soon to be 8, so I'm still ahead on cards. But I've got the board advantage with this quote-unquote Shillwind Yeti, the Darkscale Healer, which is pretty strong. If he life taps here, I wouldn't mind that, because he'd go down 2 more health and would only have then 3 mana left, which wouldn't let him do too much. It's going to play Corruption on my Darkscale Healer, which is a terrible removal spell, one of the worst in the game. So yes, this is going to die, but it's kind of stopping him from playing any other minions, because now that I know this is going to die, I can just use it to run into his stuff. Alright, so this is going to get buffed by the Blood Imp, but it's not that significant. We're just going to go ahead and use the Darkscale Healer's last turn to attack there. Play a Twilight Drake before it gets any smaller, make a Dagger. And yeah, I'll hit my opponent in the face, that's fine. I might regret this if I want to, like, Dagger something and Blade Flurry next turn. But the Blade Flurry will answer this Blood Imp, so we'll see. I have a pretty good turn 7 play if I'm not using Blade Flurry. I can do the Warden and the Cobra. Hide the Cobra behind the Warden and have the Cobra ready to kill something big. My opponent plays a Flame Imp, which is pretty bad at this stage of the game. Taking 3 damage is not trivial. He's also got a Wolf. And a Shadow Bolt for my Twilight Drake, which is immaterial, I think. Okay, so do we use Blade Flurry here? Well, if I hadn't daggered his face last turn, I could hit the wolf right now and then Blade Flurry to kill it. Otherwise, I'll have to lose the Argent Squire for that purpose. Or I could just play the Warden and the Cobra. Yeah, why don't I just do that? We'll play the Warden. Make a Cobra. Kill the Flame Imp like that. And then kill the Wolf like that. So things are looking pretty good here. He's now down to just 5 cards, one of which is a do-nothing. I have 6 real cards, about to draw my 7th, so I'm ahead on cards and ahead on life, and ahead on the board. If he plays anything big, I've got the Emperor Cobra. But this is good to see, because Blade Flurry will take that out quite nicely. It's going to life tap after playing a minion, which is a slight mistake. You should always life tap first. Eric Cartman. He's going to Soulfire my Cobra, going down another card. Void Terror. Okay, this guy's playing with some pretty bad cards. Now, I could just kill this stuff with my Wokish Ward. I don't have to use Blade Flurry here. Yeah, the Ogre's a pretty good drop. Yeah, I think we're just going to go ahead and keep it simple, keep it safe. Let's kill that like so. We'll deal a point of damage there to get it ready for Blade Flurry the following turn. And yeah, we're wildly in the lead. I'm probably going to try to hit him in the face with the Ogre. I really would only not do that if he like puts down a taunt and stops me, or if he plays like a really big creature that I'm afraid of. But I'm not even sure I would be that afraid of a big creature, because I'm getting him down to 11 health here, so he'd be in some serious trouble. Note that Blade Flurry does deal damage to the opponent, so this is like one point of direct damage if, you know, you desperately need a little bit of help. It's going to life tap, going even further lower on health, which is fine by me. Throw that away. An interesting choice, and play Dread Infernal, which kills off his own Glutton. Alright, that was a pretty good turn of events, I'd say. So I'm not even going to throw my Ogre into that Dread Infernal, we're going for the kill here. So now, let's hit my opponent in the face. Play a Yeti and a Smith. This is a nightmare for the opponent. Tons of big, beefy creatures on the board all at once, and he's only at 6 health. The Ogre by himself will kill him. I mean, he'd pretty much have to play Mind Control Tech or, like, Twisting Nether to get out of this. But Mind Control Tech wouldn't even really work. It would only take out one of my creatures. But the other 2 would still kill him, so he'd have to have a taunt or something to go along with the Mind Control Tech.
I wonder...
Yeah, he's got to have Twisting Nether. That's pretty much it to clear out the board. Life tap is definitely a desperation move. I think we're going to see a concession here. Flame Imp. Okay, that's the second Flame Imp. And is he going to kill himself somehow? Killing yourself via Flame Imps is definitely a way to go out in style. Hellfire. Nice. Well, the thing about Warlocks, they have better ways than any other class to go out in style, and we end up crushing our opponent here, which is great. So a pretty promising start to the arena. He was playing with Felguard and Void Terror. So, not exactly the strongest deck. Didn't really do that much to me. Blood Imp, I would say, is also a bad card. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think a card is just bad. And I really wouldn't ever take that card anymore unless it was just a completely miserable pack. It's not nearly the card that it used to be. What is that? Spellhour? What is Spellhour? Whatever. Spellhour 99, the mage, despite having a really stupid name, is still a fearsome opponent because, of course, mages have lots of burn potential and rogues will take some damage. Lucky to see Backstab here. Makes me wish I had a Defias Ringleader that I could combo this off of. Alas, I don't have that thing. And next turn, I'm not going to be able to do much more than dagger up, so I'm kind of hoping she gives me something to use my dagger against. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty sad turn. Well, dagger will work on that, but it is stealthed. So we're going to dagger up here. I'm not going to hit her in the face. In case I draw a deadly poison, or in case I just need to dagger 2 things before I can remake my dagger, I'd like to keep the dagger on hand. I'm going to be playing this, and maybe even that. So it's going to be a while before I remake my dagger. Luckily, she's a slow turn. She's just going to Fire Blast my face. And she will reveal this guy to have it die. Now, do I dagger it, or do I use Backstab? I could even use Shiv. Well, I'm not going to use Shiv. I think I'd rather put a creature down. She does still have the coin, so I'm gonna drop the Cobra here because what this does is makes it so that if she coins into Ascension or a Yeti, I have the kill for it with the Cobra. The Acolyte, I think, would have been a little passive there, and she could have gotten away with the game if I played that slowly. I'd be very surprised to see her Fire Blast here, although that is what she's hovering. She's actually gonna play a secret. Ah, geez, that's annoying. Well, always check for Mirror Entity before you check for Vaporize. So let's check to see if this is a Mirror Entity.
Pain, speak to me.
It's not. Oh, man. Is it Vaporize? Well, if it's Vaporize, I'd rather lose the Cobra to it than the Acolyte, because the Acolyte's worth cards. Please be Ice Armor. It's Ice Armor! Yay! Okay, so I don't really care about that. She's down 2 cards now. She went down a card with the Infiltrator dying to my dagger. She went down another card playing Ice Armor, which just gains life and does nothing. So that was pretty good. She still has the coin. She could make a big 5-drop here, but then, of course, the Cobra would kill it. She could play something like a Storm... Sorry, it's a Silver Moon Knight. Wait, Silver Hand Knight. There we go. The 4/4 that spawns a 2/2. That would be difficult for me to deal with, but it would give me an extra card off this Acolyte. I'd say the start is going pretty well. Alright, this is actually just not the right card at all. It doesn't kill my Acolyte or anything. Yeah, she's just hitting me in the face with it because it was going to die to my Cobra. Alright, let's think about how we do this. I could, of course, hit it with the Cobra. Then the Cobra will die to the Fire Blast, which is unfortunate. I could deal 1 damage, 2, 3, 4 damage. Can't quite kill it that way. Unless I backstab. I could backstab it and then bring it down with the Storm Suck Commando. Is that worth it? To preserve the health from the Cobra? I think it is. I mean, my opponent seems not to have an answer for that Cobra, so I'm going to backstab this, run in the Acolyte, get a card. Now we're going to play the Storm Suck Commando, shoot that thing, hit her in the face with the Cobra, and I'm not going to use this dagger. I really just don't think I'm going to have time to remake the dagger anytime soon, because next turn I'd like to play the Ogre. It would take quite a remarkable turn of events for her to have a 5-mana play that would make me not play the Ogre, given that I have this Cobra out here. Either she spends mana killing the Cobra, then her drop should be pretty small, or if she plays something big, then I can just kill it with the Cobra. This is not what my opponent wanted to play, so she's clearly got a bad hand if she's playing this. This is obviously terrible, because I can just kill it with my Stormkite Commando. Do whatever the hell I want now. Go ahead and play a Boulder Fist Ogre. So we're almost through that Ice Armor, but I really don't care about the fact that, you know, she's at 31 health. The point is that I have huge board advantage. Now, if she's got any Fireballs or Polymorphs, she might not have wanted to use them against my other creatures. So here's where we might see one. That would be her entire turn, though, killing that Ogre. And I have another 6-drop coming down right after it. So I'm pretty happy about the way things are going here. Spell Hour. What does that mean? I was thinking of like Spell Tower or Spell Thrower or Spell Hour, like H-O-U-R, like the Hour of Spells, but I don't know what Spell Hour is. Warden! This is really not the card she wants to play at all. It'll just die. She pings off my Acolyte, which actually, folks, I think that's actually a mistake. Now, the reason I think that's a mistake is she should have pinged the Cobra. That way, if the Cobra kills the Warden, then the Cobra's down to 1 health, and then she can Fire Blast it to death. But this way, I kill the Warden with my Cobra. It's a 2 health, it can't be Fire Blasted, and so then I'm just free to, boom, hit her in the face with the Ogre and not even care about it. Alright, now let's play the Lord of the Arena here. I don't think I'm going to be able to remake my... Actually, I might be able to remake my dagger next turn. Do I want to remake a dagger next turn, or do I want to play other things? What will I probably be playing? Hard to predict, depending on how well she removes my board, I guess. I'm not going to hit her in the face with a dagger. I think 1 point of damage is not worth the risk that I might actually want this thing around. Anyway, now she can Flame Strike, but it only kills the Cobra. It actually kills neither of my other creatures, which is hilarious. And then this is 12 damage being threatened, which is about half her health. I have 2 sources of direct damage that cannot be stopped, except, of course, by Counterspell or Ice Block. Mages are the only class in the game that can actually stop direct damage. She is going to Flame Strike just to kill the Cobra, it seems. And she can ping the Lord of the Arena to death next turn, but, you know, not before I hit her for 12 damage. Boom, boom. I want you in my room. Okay, unfortunately, everything I have here will die if she has another Flame Strike, so I'm going to play the Warden here. Because that at least survives. We'll hit her in the face now. Remake the dagger. And I'll play Mana Wraith. I don't really mind losing the Mana Wraith. I mean, if I hit on cards, that's alright. If that gets Flame Struck to death, fine. Blizzard would also be good. It would let her ping to the Ogre to death. It would kill the Mana Wraith and the Lord of Arena outright. So, you know, being a mage, she always has ways to come back, but I am daggering her down by 1 point a turn now, and I've got 2 extra points of damage in my back pocket, which tremendously increase if I get Deadly Poison or Assassin's Blade. And I could always draw Sprint and get a bunch more cards and just win. She does not have Flame Strike or Blizzard. She's pinging the Lord of Dreams to death. That is bad news for her because that means this Ogre, either she has to spend mana killing it or it's going to survive and hit her for half her health, so she's in a lot of trouble here. Spellhauer. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning. It was always burning. Never mind that you saw me clicking it. I did not start that fire. What I didn't start also was my opponent being super slow. Come on, buddy. Either you can kill things or you concede. Well, let's not dilly-dally here. What you doing? What you doing? Hey, I still haven't seen my legendary. I still haven't seen Ragnaros. And my last time playing with a legendary, the legendary was like super duper gregarious, and I like saw it every single game. But this time, the legendary is shy. All right, we get a Priestess of Balloon. Shields for 4. I don't see a need to kill that thing. She's so low on health.
Here we go.
Alright, let's go ahead and, you know, let me just shiv. I think this is where that shiv is going to go. It's going to go on her face. Let's remake the dagger. Play Scarlet Crusader. Still want to be a little bit cautious about laying out my minions. You know, I don't see much of a reason to do that. Got the kill being threatened here. The Warden protects the Ogre from dying, and then I've got lethal damage threatened both by the Ogre and by these two. She did not Blizzard or Flame Strike the previous turn. Aha, she's got Mirror Image. This is actually not a problem, however, because I can Fan of Knives to deal 1 damage to both of them, and then Blade Flurry will kill them both off. So she is not going to save herself with those Mirror Images. In fact, at the moment, she's just dead even without Fan of Knives, Blade Flurry. I can kill one, kill the other, and then the Ogre kills her. So this last card has to be, last mana has to be spent on Frostbolting or Fireballing or Polymorphing my Ogre, or else the game is just ending. She could also silence the Warden and then use the Priestess of Elune to kill the Ogre. That would also work, but she has to do one of those things or else she's actually dead on the board. Frost Nova would be irritating here, because it would stop me from attacking. She's just gonna do a bunch of nothing. Okay. Yeah, this opponent, judging just by the way that she played here, seemingly oblivious to the fact that she's dead, and also, judging by the fact that she didn't really do anything all game, I think it was a bit of a newer player, which is totally fine. So we get the second win. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please also consider subscribing to my channel. It would help me tremendously. And if you want to see how the rest of the arena went, stay tuned. I'm posting the rest of the games in just a moment. Take care.